All right. Oh my goodness, I'm having technical problems. Can you stand it? Hey, hello there, my darlings. It's another glorious Wednesday, honey, and you know what time it is, babies. It's time to dish tea, and you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meats. Hey, babies, all my tea sippers out there, thank you so much for joining me and coming on in, honey, on this wonderful day. As you all know, honey, today is March 7th. I am still in my birthday season. Yes, I am, honey. It started February 28th. I turned 42 this past March 4th, honey, on Sunday, and I am not going to stop celebrating this season until April 2nd. So throughout this entire month, I will be in birthday mode. To all of my other Pisceans out there, happy birthday to you as well. Again, I want to do a special shout out to a very special Piscean, Bobby Christina Brown, who shared my birthday. As we all know, this is a difficult time. This is her very first birthday without her mom, and the first ones are usually always rough and difficult. And with her only turning 19 as a young woman, I'm sure this is most difficult for her at this time. So with that, please understand, honey, we are looking to uplift her as well, okay? So with that in mind, babies, we're going to get into this. Baby, I got a show for you today that is going to titillate your taste buds, I hope, and to tantalize all of your innermost beings, honey. Is going to just give you a sense of newness and awakenings, if you will. Okay. But before we get started, let me say this. I rated this show to be explicit, so let me say my disclaimer here. Dishing Tea with Big Meats, honey, is a mature show, and it's for mature audiences. And there is nothing in here that is meant for children or anyone who is not mature enough to handle the subject matter. So your listening discretion is advised. I'm going to repeat that. Dishing Tea with Big Meats is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that you hear on this show are not appropriate for children or anyone who is not mature to handle the subject matter. So your listening discretion is advised. Now, if you're at work, if you're somewhere where there's children around, honey, I'm going to tell you to govern yourself accordingly. Put the headphones on or reduce the volume down to a respectful level, because I am 42 years old now. Those of you who know me don't know I have a potty mouth. I make no excuses for it. I've earned the right to every 4 letters, 1 syllable word that comes out of my mouth. Okay, so you bitches are not going to be calling me, writing me, emailing me, faxing me, texting me, or whatever if you get demerits or whatever on your job write-ups or somebody talking about you. Or if your children start to repeat something that they hear from me. Govern yourselves accordingly. Now, you have been warned, okay? Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, show ideas, show topics, dear Big Meats letters, y'all know I love doing those to give advice and things like that. Please feel free to send them to me directly, bigmeats@dishingtea.com, or you can go to the website, www.dishingtea.com, and you can go there, go to the contact section and leave all that information there. But while you're perusing the website, you can also pick up a book, your copy of my book, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey, there on the site as well. Brand new news. The book now is being featured at Brushstrokes, Sensory Overload. That's right, over there in Ainsley Mall. They just picked up the book over there. So if you're in the Atlanta area and need a hard copy, you can go right over there and pick up a copy today. Also, if you're an online shopper and prefer to just do it there, the book is also on Amazon.com. And from now until April 2nd, you're going to get the birthday discount. The books are going for $10 on Amazon.com up until April 2nd. Regularly, they're $15. So I advise you to take advantage of that now. They will be shipping directly from me. So if you want an autographed copy, just make sure that when you order it, you send me an email or put something up somewhere and let me know that you want your book signed, and I will put it to your attention, okay? Your first and your last name. So that way everybody who comes over there say, okay, this is Mary's copy, honey. We got 15 million Marys. Okay, but I want it to be Mary Jenkins Black because you done got married. Okay? So with that in mind, that there is what I want from you. I'm going to say hello and hi to all of my sponsors this evening. You know, periodically, I have to learn how to do commercial breaks so that I can play the damn commercials that we made for them, right? So, but if the show gets hot, y'all know how we do, okay? But thank you to all of my sponsors who come out and to give me an assist, because without you, there is no me, okay? All right. Okay, that's my cell phone going off in the background. I didn't turn it off yet, ha-ha. So, all right, let me put that on silent. There we go. So, as I said, I am still in birthday mode. I went and got my very, very first professional manicure and pedicure the other day, and I will be returning in the next couple of weeks. I used to do my own nails, my own hands. I've never done my feet, but, honey, after that experience, yes, honey, I will be returning. Okay, now that's a beautiful segue because of what that is. You know, the whole idea, the fantasy of it, what it means, being submissive to the person who is working on my feet, trusting them that they're not going to nick and cut me and this, that, and the third. That there is loosely where we're going. No, I won't say loosely. It's the same principle, okay, of what we're going to delve into. And today's show topic, the reason why it's explicit, is because it's dealing with an area of subject that is still considered taboo in a lot of different mediums and in a lot of different cultures, particularly in African American culture or persons of color. We do not know how to express ourselves or understand exactly what this particular phenomenon is, why this culture exists, and etc. I titled this show, Who's Your Daddy? The Black Leatherman Experience. Okay? And today, we will be exploring the ins and the outs of black men and who they are in the leather community, and what does all of this mean. And to help me to educate ourselves on this particular matter, I have someone, he's a lovely little sweetheart, okay, and very, very gentle soul, and I love that. Excuse me, I had to take a sip. Very gentle soul, and I believe that his representation of this is going to be exactly where we need, because his specific skill set, if you will, as coming into this particular way of living. He promotes brotherhood, he promotes kindness, and he promotes friendships. And right now, he is currently the current reigning Mr. Leatherman of Color 2011-2012 for this particular sector, and he's going to compete nationally for Mr. IML, this International Mr. Leather, okay, this coming May. So Mr. Peter Hamilton is his name. He's going to take us on a journey into the world, into the fascination of leather, breaking down the myths and some of the stereotypes, because most of us only know this to be only whips and chains. You know, in addition, in talking with him, and he's preparing for national competition, I'm going to get him to share with us what his platform is, what he stands to gain if he wins nationally, what he's expecting from the competition, what it would mean to Georgia's LGBT community if he were to win nationally, and you know, just to see what all of this entails for him as a title holder, okay? And as I said, you know, of course, throughout the rest of the day, I'm going to be interjecting some things about my birthday. Yes, I'm gonna slaughter y'all today, honey, because I can. Okay, so without any further ado, let me bring on, this is Mr. Leatherman of Color himself, Mr. Peter Hamilton. Hello, Peter, darling.
Hello, Big Meech. How are you, baby?
Baby, I am everything, and
Yes,
everything is
you are.
me. Okay?
Yes, you are. It was very good seeing you the other night.
Oh, see there? Yes, despite the rain and carrying on, because, I guess because I was celebrating, honey, I brought in the storm, honey. I hadn't been out like that in a while. As a matter of fact, here in Atlanta at the Eagle Bar, one of our leather clubs, the Men of Onyx, which is the Black Men's Leather Club, has their club night. So every first Friday is their night. And I used to frequent it regularly, but because of my work schedule and the fact that I don't have a vehicle, it prevents me from going. So this particular weekend, I rented a car and decided to come out. And you see, I brought the storm with me, honey. We shut it down.
I was
brought tornadoes and storms and everything.
And I was there, and so it all worked out.
And it all worked out well. So, my darling, let's start here at the beginning, because what I want to do with you is I want to...
Everything is a double entendre with you. I have to be very careful.
Why? Okay.
There could be several things you want to do with me, but for interview purposes.
But for interviewing purposes and for educational information, what I want to do, because with the sound and the tone of your voice, already you do not fit the bill of what a lot of folks are expecting BDSM leather community to be. So let's start with what enticed you to introduce you to this world, and how did you know that you were a part of it?
Well, that's interesting that you said about my voice, because I don't know what people would entail from that, but my interest in the leather community actually, and I was living in New Jersey, young boy in New Jersey. I would sneak my little porno magazine underneath my bed. They were my little magazines. When I found out I myself and make things happen. And one of my very first magazines was a Thomas. And for people that don't know Thomas Finland, he was a very famous cartoonist.
Yes, Lord.
Who did most of his images were of men in leather in various states of undress and activities and all of that kind of thing. And so those were my images, and they off, and I thought they were really hot. I kind of put that aside, and then I moved to New York, and I had a very good friend who's actually listening, and he used to take me around to all these little seedy spots. And Charles, you know who you are, but I won't mention his last name. And we used to peek into little leather bars and go to little alleys, because New York back in the 80s is not the New York of 2012.
Exactly.
So and that is how my exposure became. But I didn't ever see myself represented in that community. I thought it was hot. I thought it was sexy. I didn't still really understand what it was, except from a sexual standpoint that I got turned on by it. But it wasn't until I moved to Atlanta 6 years ago, I was dating someone, and he said, hey, there's this club called the Eagle. Well, I knew about the Eagle, but he said, it's First Friday, and Onyx is having their bar night, and they're a black leather club. And that was all I needed to hear. I said, let's go. And so I went, and my mind was blown. It was the first time that I had ever been in a bar setting with all of these men who were living the leather lifestyle. And it was the first time that I really, really saw myself represented it, and it was really an array for me. And so I was like, I need to know more. And so I kind of hung around Onyx for the next year and became a member, finally, after I was someone's boy for about a year. the member's boys, who now lives in Florida. But and after that year, I became a member, and thus my journey has begun.
Really? Now see, baby. Oh, see, this needs to be. I need to feel like Oprah and just do a full out video, do our ditty, with this and carry it on. Because just in that intro, there's a number of different elements here that I can segue into. However, let me stay here, and I guess this is going to be a twofold, because one of the things that a lot of people do not understand, and that is equating leather lifestyle with sexual activity. Because again, everybody only knows leather lifestyle to be whips and chains, somebody getting beat, somebody getting all this other stupid shit that they know it to be, but don't understand it. So,
well,
how did you educate yourself and then learn how to bridge the two to where this was a complete sexual experience versus just a BDSM, master, slave, bondage, discipline, kind of thing, in the connotation that folks know it to be?
Well, anyone that is interested in the BDSM community, I think the first thing you need to do is really do your research.
Mm-hmm.
When I came to Onyx, when I was a member of Onyx, and I just need to make it clear that I'm no longer a member of Onyx. I'm a member of the Seven Guardsmen now, and we'll touch on that. But I observed for a year. I learned, I talked to people, I asked questions, and I didn't just go in there thinking that I knew anything, because I knew I didn't know anything at that time. I knew nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think if you have an interest in this, if this is something that you want to do, you need to do your homework, because it's not for everyone. And you said something that's very interesting. This is a lifestyle.
Right.
But a lot of people come into it thinking that it's just for play. And, it can be. You can have leather play. You can have, BDSM play. But for me, this is a lifestyle choice. And so I met brothers there that were living this lifestyle in their day-to-day dealings with people, how they carried themselves. And that's how I learned. And it has been the most amazing, freeing journey for me, because you've met me, so I'm not a small man.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what the leather community has done for me is helped me to grow into myself, and I've always known I wanted to be, and that means living the lifestyle and not just going into it for play. Leather play, leather sex play, for me, is more in the head. It's not about intercourse.
Uh-huh.
So those brothers that are out there thinking, I like it because, I want to get fucked, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. It's not about that. I guess it can be, but that's not living the lifestyle. For me, this is a choice. I choose to live my life as a leather man, and it carries over into my work and into my dealings with people. I don't take shit. I'm
okay.
I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. And I think if you don't know what you will believe in, you'll fall for anything. Isn't that how that saying goes?
Right. If you don't stand, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything.
Fall for everything, exactly. So, living the leather lifestyle, you have to know what you stand for, what you will do, and what you won't do. And a lot of people don't want to take that step. They want to use it as this for a plaything, and for me, it's a little more than that.
Interesting. Okay, now wait a minute. Let me explore that just a bit, because again, I'm coming from the avenue of the outsider looking in, because all we hear, and for those who are porn advocates and carry on, I'm a porn aficionado myself.
Really?
Oh, Dottie, please. just put all that out there like that, but I don't care. Hey, what we hear and what we know it to be, what has been depicted in movies and carried on, and I'm going to say this word here, and that is master-slave, okay? And if this is a lifestyle choice, and you say this carries over and this is how I'm living my life. I know folks who are masters and or daddies or whatever the title is going to be, where they have their submissives and, the whole world is, they live in a house and the submissive is just that, he's at attention, he's, if this is their particular play, the submissive is at the master's feet and at the beck and call and this, that, and the other. And a lot of folks don't understand how that becomes a lifestyle of choice. And why would someone want to do that, particularly people of color, knowing that we come from an era of slavery and this, that, and the other. And I think that's why a lot of people of color can't wrap that.
What you said is
break it down, baby.
It's actually a choice. Slavery, we didn't have a choice.
Dig it.
You were told this is what you will do, and there was no benefit for it. A leather relationship should have a quid pro quo. If I am submissive to you, if I'm serving you, I'm receiving pleasure by doing that.
Right.
My joy comes from making sure that you are pleased at all times. If I'm a slave, if that is my role, I come into the relationship accepting my role and my position, and my joy comes from making you happy.
Okay, dig it.
So does that make sense? Whereas
exactly. I got you. I'm there, but go ahead.
Yeah, a slave in a leather relationship is getting just as much out of the relationship as the dom or the sub is getting. It's a mutually agreed upon relationship. No one's making you do anything.
Exactly.
Everyone is coming to the table knowing that this is how it's going to be. And it makes things very black and white and very, very clear. There is no room for misunderstanding. Sometimes a sub might step out of line because they want to be disciplined, and that happens.
Okay.
And that just adds to the fun of it, but you're only going to go so far, especially if it's a master-slave relationship. And if he's a real master or a true daddy or a true dom, he's only going to let you go so far and step out of line. But again, it's a mutually agreed upon relationship where both of you are receiving something from it. So no one is ever doing anything that they don't want to do.
Now, okay, and as you were talking, my spirit just said, okay, right here, interject my own story.
Oh, bring it on. I want to hear it.
Well, I found out that this was something that intrigued me. Accidentally, actually. I'm from Detroit, so while in Detroit, I worked in security, everything gay in Detroit as far as a bar was concerned. I practically worked most of the gay bars, and that included the Detroit Eagle. And it's so funny because at that particular time, I was a performer, okay? A gender illusionist. So they got a kick out of a drag queen watching the Butch Boys. Okay. But that was cool. But what I found out was in listening to the stories and watching the guys come in and see, being a man of size, the look always attracted me because big men look fucking hot in the gear. Okay?
The gear, yes.
We just look good.
It is hot. It accesses. Accentuates is the word I'm looking for.
Exactly.
All the right things in the right places, and and that's a fetish within itself.
Exactly.
Smelling leather, having leather on, that is a turn on in itself.
Within itself.
Yes.
Exactly. Now, in addition to that, in Michigan, we have a gay resort called the Douglas Dunes in the western part of the state, the northwest sector of the state of Michigan. And there, Chicago Hellfire comes in every year the Tuesday after Labor Day, and they set up camp, to get ready for their festivities. And it was then, the first year that I worked at the club, at the resort, and they came in, that I found out that I was more attracted to leather lifestyle, or at least leather fun at this particular point, than I gave myself credit for. I did not fully understand what a complete mindfuck was until I experienced it.
And it's better than
God, yes.
anything. I mean, people, and the thing, especially with the black gay community, but I don't just want to put it on the black gay community. They see leather and they think intercourse automatically. They don't think of getting up in someone's mind. And if you mind fuck somebody, baby, you got them. You will be so turned on, so hard, so it will be better than any orgasm that you could ever have.
Because it's ongoing. I didn't want nobody to touch me. Because I felt if they touched me, they were going to break it and get into the space, which was the first for me, because I'm a very open person. And that was the one time where I really wanted all of that to myself, but at the same time, I wanted somebody to experience this, because it was too rich to keep to myself. I'm going to call his name, because I have not seen him since this particular point, because I prayed. I said, Lord, I'm having too much fun with him, but if he ain't mine, don't give him to me. Okay? Don't give him to me. Okay? Because if he's not, and it hurt me. But I'd rather have that hurt then than to have gone into something and it didn't turn out and then be hurt later. His name is Bart. That's all I'm going to call him. Bart, I know you out there somewhere. I have been lusting for that man for 6 years prior to this moment.
Wow.
Okay, I'm telling you. Every time I saw him, he wore a leather cop's uniform. Okay?
So you might have a uniform fetish.
Huh?
So you might have a uniform fetish.
Maybe. I'm not exactly sure, Jason. I'm still playing with that. But all I know is he was a big old thickums. And so I like big boys. And in that and then he had a mountain for an ass. And everything was just sitting properly. Okay? And then, in the uniform, he just exuded masculinity. Now, he wasn't the most masculine person, because when we sat down and talked, he had a very soft-spoken voice and this, that, and the other. And, in regular gay world, he'll be considered a butch queen. But in gear, God damn it, I had never been so intrigued in my life. And he was my very first date. A real sit down to the bar, have a cocktail date, okay? So we met up at the bar for cocktails. We sat down and we talked, and this, that, and the other. And I was really digging this boy. And so for that entire time that he was there, as I said, I was working at the club, so we had to serve breakfast and this, that, and the other. So every morning he would come, he would kiss me in the morning, and then he would see me before he went to go play or whatever. I said, well, go on to your thing and do what you're going to do. And see, I get off on stories. So, I'm like, come tell me about everything later,
Okay.
So.
You like to live vicariously through others.
Yeah, I do. A lot of times, I do. It's fun. But at the same time, and like I said, he had got so in my head it was crazy because I daydreamed about him. If I couldn't say his name without stuttering, my palms got sweaty. I was like, what the hell am I going through? Because I had never been through that kind of thing before. If I closed my eyes to go to sleep, honey, he was there in my dreams. When I woke up, I'm daydreaming about this man, and I'm like, God, help me. What is? But I loved it at the same time.
So he got in spirit. He got in your head.
He did.
Head.
Yes, he did. And I welcomed it. Okay.
Exactly. It was mutually beneficial to the both of you. See, that's there has to be a payoff for the two of you.
So when it was all said and done, like I said, I prayed. I said, Lord, I'm having too much fun with this. I really want him to be mine, but if he ain't, don't give him to me. And we were supposed to have a date that Thursday, the last day before they left, and he left before seeing me. And that was in 1999. I have not seen that man since.
Well, then you need to look him up. You need to find out.
But
you need to find out where he's at. That's all. You know what? You should come to IML. Maybe he'll be there.
I'm sure he will. He's a member of Hellfire, so I'm sure he has probably been back to the dunes and this, that, and the other. But I said all that to say I have become, attached to the community. Also, now, I've just recently gotten comfortable with my masculinity. Because when folks used to call me daddy, I used to cringe because I wasn't all that masculine in earlier expressions of my gayness. So I would always consider myself a mama, So when somebody came and called me daddy, I was like, oh, that don't feel right, But I've become more comfortable with it, and so now I have a couple of boys. And this, that, and the other. And, the whole grooming and making sure they're this and making sure they're that, and that whole masculine type of nurturing is fun. Mm-hmm. And see, what I love about it, too, is that I have the duo thing because I have the feminine motherly thing. And then when I need to bring Big Daddy, honey, Big Daddy is always there, too. So I still consider myself a novice at all of this because, I'm still learning the ropes. And I shared all that because, I wanted folks to hear my particular story because I'm sure someone listening has had something similar to that or have found themselves in positions where, they thought that particularly since gay culture like to be really top and bottom, where the bottom find themselves in more control of everything, when in all actuality is the bottom who is in control because nothing can happen without the consensus of the bottom. So all of that, let's go back to the situation at hand, and that is you being now a part of this particular culture. And let's go here with the title. Because now that you have the title, what is it that, and in 6 short years of you being here in Atlanta, and see, that's something to be said. What attracted you to compete for the title, and what do you expect to get out of this particular title here?
Well, can I talk a little bit about?
Do it, baby, do it.
For those people that don't know what the title is and
yes, break it down.
The Leatherman of Color was founded back in 2005 by one of the original founders of Onyx, Mufasa Ali, who lives in Chicago. And the original intent for the title was to have representation of men of color. And when I say men of color, not just black men, Latino, Asian, Persian, men of color at IML because Mufasa felt that we weren't being represented. So, there has been 5 other Leathermen of Colors before me. I am the first from Atlanta and from the Southeast. So that's a thing, yes. All the others were either from Chicago, D.C., or New York.
Okay.
So,
All right.
bringing that title here to Atlanta was kind of important to me. And I had actually, and this actually goes for anybody that's listening that's thinking about becoming a title holder, running for my title, or running for any kind of title. Do your homework and go to people that you respect and that you know who are going to tell you the truth. And luckily, I try to always surround myself with people that are going to tell me the truth, and they did. And I did some research on this title, and I knew that it needed a little more finesse. It needed a little more exposure here in the South, and I wanted to represent a different type of Leatherman than the ones that were before me. Not that the ones before me, they were great, they were wonderful, but I wanted to do my own thing and bring my own thing to it. So I talked to my other leather brothers, and I said, what do you think? I'm thinking about doing this. I feel very new into the community, though. I don't know if I'm ready for it. One thing that they always said to me is that we got your back. The leather community is very small, especially the black leather community is very small, but the leather community, we are still a subculture of mainstream gay community. We still are a subculture of that.
Right.
But they always made it clear to me that they had my back. So with that confidence, I went in and I applied and filled out my application and went to compete, and I won.
Okay. Well, how about it?
How about it? And there you have it. And it's been a very enlightening experience. Some of the things that I was warned was going to happen have happened, some of the negatives, but the positive things have also been mind-blowing and amazing. I've met some amazing people. I've met a lot of my IML brothers that I'll be competing against. I've gotten a lot of sponsorship, which is very, very important when you're running a title because it takes a lot of money. A lot of, so, and just getting my face out there in the community in a way, I took more of a backseat in the leather community. I didn't really put myself out there to the front. So having this title, I knew I would have to stand out front.
Okay.
I no longer just be a member of the group. I needed to put myself out front. And it was just a natural progression for me. It was the next thing that I needed to do in my leather journey. And I'm glad I did.
Okay, so now let's go here. I like this question. Hot Boy 1800 in the chat room over here is asking. He said, "Well, what were those negatives?"
What were the negatives that I was warned about when I was running? I may not. Money, as I already mentioned, money is a very big issue. It takes a lot of money. You don't just go to this one competition and there are is that you need to make. There are, goals that you set with your producers for your title year. And hopefully your producers will help support you financially. We all still got to work. I still have a full-time job that I have to go to. It's very, very, very time-consuming. There is not one day since October when you came down and saw me win that I have not woken up and thought about what needs to be done for Leatherman of Color. So living my regular life and trying to pay my bills, I'm trying to do fundraising, and a lot of the challenges come from really a lack of fund and sometimes a lack of feeling support. You're out there on your own. There's nobody that's going to do the work for you.
Okay.
I need to go out there and shake hands. I need to go out there and meet people. I need to place cold calls, write letters. I have to do all that stuff. And, and you have to make sure that you're representing yourself in a way that people want to support you, that people know that you're the real deal and not dress up, but that you are a man of integrity that they can get behind and support.
Exactly. Okay, now let's talk about that as far as the title itself. Now, you have the title of Leatherman of Color, and now going for the national title of International Mr. Leather. What do those two titles represent to you, and what is it that you're bringing to the title itself that you want folks to support and to believe in as you have your reign?
Well, are you talking about what do you think I could bring to Leatherman of Color or to the International Mr. Leather?
Both.
Well, for Leatherman of Color, I think what I have done over these past couple of months is, first of all, being the first one from the South, I think I gave exposure to a title that people did not know about. Because no one had it. And, just having that exposure brings attention to it. People can Google. People can go on to my Facebook site, Peter Hamilton, or they can go on to my website at wix.com/LMOC2012/winner. And they can follow me. Contest will be in October in New York. So I think what I bring is a uniqueness. I never claim to know everything, be everything. I feel that I am growing in my leather journey. I think people see that. I think they see a sincerity and an honesty and a willingness to grow and to learn. And I think that's enticing to people. As far as the International Man of Leather, Mr. Leather, there have been two winners of that competition since it started back in 1979 who were African American. One, Mr. Ron Moore back in 1984, and then D. Cannon in 1991. Now, last year we did have Douglas Pamplin, who was also Mr. Mid-Atlantic Leather, which is another huge national title, who placed first runner-up. He's an African American, and D is an amazing guy. So we haven't had a lot of exposure still since 1979 with that competition. I mean, we go, we support, we give our money, we do whatever, but we haven't been taking home the title. And I want to take home the title. I think it would be great for the Atlanta gay community as a whole. I think it wonders for the leather community here in Atlanta, after everything that went down with the Eagle.
Right, exactly.
I think it would be amazing to bring that title here to Atlanta.
Okay, now let me go here. Now I'm going to play a little ugliness right here, because it's the elephant in the room, and that is the whole idea. Number one, as I said earlier, about our community, the persons of color or LGBT of color, who do not understand leather culture or leather lifestyle, and yet at the same time, there's still the whole racist issue that plagues the community because of our Caucasian counterparts who may not open the door willingly for African Americans and other persons of color to be into this. What is it that is in your platform that you will bring forth or educate folks on to dispel some of these disparities that's there, to eradicate it?
Well, that's an amazing question, and thank you for asking it, because it can be a little uncomfortable. Look, I am not going to solve racism I'm
Right.
I'm not gonna make people who don't have an attraction for black men or have issues with people of color in general. I'm not going to change their minds. Those people are who they are. And yes, they're in the leather community, they're in the gay community, they're in our everyday lives. But I think what I bring to the table is the fact that we are here, and for those people that are willing to listen and to have their eyes opened, to know that we're not just playing. And I think the perception of a lot of whites in the leather community is sexualize us in a way that we are just to be played with like a toy, a novel.
Right.
That we're not true Leathermen, that we're not actually living the lifestyle, that we're playing dress up, or that
that's a big one. Mm-hmm.
That we're just really, they see us in a very sexual way. So I'm hoping that what I'm going to bring to this competition, and that what I'm trying to bring to my title year, is that no, this is a lifestyle, and for the African Americans and men of color that are into this lifestyle, that we are here. So I'm just trying to represent that. And the only way I can really do that is just to be, whenever you see me, I'm carrying myself in a way that people look at me. You never know who's watching.
Exactly.
And so whenever you see me, you ain't never going to be able to call me out. It's just not going to go down that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I just present and be the best Leatherman that I can be in all settings at all times. And just to, show people that we are here and we're serious, that this is not a game for me. This is not my weekend, I put on a pair of chaps and go to the Eagle and, I'm trying to get laid thing. That's not what it's about for me.
Okay. Okay, which is the general perception of a lot of people.
But we do that to ourselves, Meech. We do that to ourselves. I mean,
interesting.
Look, I don't think I'm an unattractive guy.
Mm-hmm. No, you're not.
And I know that when I put my gear on, that, I do get a lot of attention. But I'm also very, very clear that if you step to me with that, I'll take a compliment, I may even let you grab my ass. Maybe.
Right. Right.
But
okay. Depending on my mood, honey.
And don't test me. Don't try me, because you're going to get your feelings hurt.
Okay.
Because
now,
it's not a game.
Exactly. Now, here we go. First off, let me say this. I'm not going to call his last name because you didn't, but Charles says, thanks for calling me out, Pete, LOL. Okay, he's in the tea room. Hey, Charles. Okay. Okay. And also, Torian Walker, hey, baby, he asked this question, and this fits right into coming off of what you just talked about. And his question is, do you have a formal process for mentoring newbies coming into leather life?
I have not taken anyone under my wing personally.
Mm-hmm.
Great mentors. I think if someone came to me and said, will you help me? See, that's the other thing. You have to put yourself out there first. Don't expect people to come up to you while you're sitting in the corner in the bar and ask, I may come up and introduce myself, but if you want to know something, you need to take that first step and ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
As far as mentoring someone, if someone came to me and said, I'm really, really interested in learning more, what could I do, who can I talk to, and they wanted to talk to me and they wanted me to be their mentor, I would definitely be open to it. I probably could not do it right now because I just have so much going on, but I would definitely point them in a direction to people that I trust that have mentored me. I still have mentors that I go to all the time, that I reach out to. But, I'm definitely open to it. It would be a little difficult with, preparing for IML and being this title holder to take that role on, because if you're going to mentor someone, if you're really going to teach them about the leather community, the leather lifestyle, and they're coming to you openly and honestly, you really want to be able to give them that time. And I don't have that time right now to do, but I'm always willing to talk to someone.
Okay. So now, would you say that your brand would probably be a little bit more formal, textbook, go get this book, go get that book, let's begin here, Leather 101, or would you be a little bit more informal like we are here, okay, and then go, kind of like an on-the-job training kind of thing?
Well, for me, a lot of it was on-the-job training. Now, of course, there are books and things that you can go and research and look at. Jill Carter, who was the first African American International Miss Leather title holder, she wrote a book called "So You Want to Be a Title Holder." There are also other books about the leather community that you can read up on if you wanted to do that. I get from a point when I first went to the Onyx meeting, my first daddy, Stephen Dragon.
I knew when you said he moved to Florida, I knew you were talking about him.
Well,
go ahead.
I love him dearly. But, he took me under his wing, and I was his boy for a year. And I really learned by being his boy the rules and protocols of being in the leather community. Because
interesting.
There are rules. And, a lot of people, that's why a lot of people get their feelings hurt, especially, you can go to First Fridays at the Eagles, and I suggest anybody that wants to do that, they can do that. We're also, the Seven Guardsmen will be having a bar night on the 16th of this month. Come out. We'll be there also. But don't just walk up to somebody and grab them and touch them and, do all of that, because you're going to get your feelings hurt. If this is something that you are truly interested in, know the rules before you go into it. So it took me a year to find out if this is really what I wanted to do.
Interesting.
Do your homework. Your homework.
Because I'm going to put this out here like this. I know for me, I have a strong trust issue, and I know I have a real hard time dealing with disciplinarians who I feel abuse their privilege. Because I know I'm so much like my mother. It's ridiculous, but I buck authority. Okay,
but see, that's the beauty of the leather community, Meech, is if you wanted to submit to someone, the beauty of it is giving up that trust. See, like I got to be in control all the time, and in my job and in my life and whatever. And I would be considered a snitch in the leather community. But there are times, if I'm being flogged or whatever, when I'm being a sub, that I give up that trust. I give up that, and it is such a relief. It is such a relief to be able to give that. But you're absolutely right. You need to know who you're playing with before you do that.
Exactly.
So I have trust issues. You can't just give it willy-nilly because,
no, Lord.
especially in leather play, if you get into more serious leather play, because, again, it's not about your dick in somebody's ass. That's not leather.
Right.
But if you're getting into serious, you know, fire or fisting or flogging or whip or chains or, you know, as my brother said, you could have a oops moment, which can be fun, or you can have an oh shit moment.
Hello.
And if you have an oh shit moment, and I've had an oh shit moment, which
okay.
you know, which was not fun, but you know everything turned out okay. And actually, it was I was subbing for one of my brothers, and we were doing a chain demo, and I know they're listening, so they're probably laughing right now because we can laugh about it now, but at the time it was kind of scary. You know, when you're doing these things, you need to be prepared mentally, physically. You know, it was my first chain demo. I was a little nervous about it. I didn't really eat well that day.
Right.
Prepare myself. We're at the Eagle, we're at the bar, and I'm being chained to another person. And, you know, Sir Dexter was chaining me up and getting me up, and, you know, he's a very compassionate top. He's always checking on you, making sure that you're okay, making sure that, you know, you're all right. And I kept saying, yeah, I'm fine. And one of my other brothers was holding me up because I was in a certain position before all the chains got into place. And I passed out.
Oh, shit.
Literally passed out. And, you know, what I didn't realize, I had my legs locked the entire time. And I guess that's like a military thing. You know, when you're standing at attention or whatever, you never lock because, you know, you stop the blood flow and then you can faint. Well, I hadn't eaten. I had my legs locked. So we went from, you know, doing this demo to me literally being on the floor and having to be helped out to get some air or whatever. So that's what I'm talking about. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to trust the people that you're around. You know, I was never any fear of my life, anything like that. But that could have, you know, if you were doing that with somebody in the privacy of a home or something like that, and you don't trust that person, that could have turned into a really unfortunate situation.
Okay, well, wow. Let's go here because as I'm listening to you, I know I have control issues. So, and I've been told by a few folks that because I've always said, well, I don't know, you know, if I'm nowhere near a top in this and this that, and the other, and they told me, no, honey, you are because of your attitude in it. You just someone who likes to fuck and get fucked. And, you know, in your particular play, that doesn't make you top or bottom. It is who is in control of the situation. And I said, really? Okay, because I never thought about it that way. And it always has been this whole idea of what masculinity is supposed to be. Now, I'm a footnote there because I have an interesting question here. First off, let everybody know when IML is because you're competing. Your competition is coming up. And then also, and you letting them know this, folks, you say you on a fundraiser, honey. Give us a round-off figure of what you're trying to raise. Because if it takes a lot of money, get them the lowdown. Look, do we need like a presidential campaign? We got to raise thousands and thousands of dollars. Do we need to raise millions? What is your goal in your fundraising for your particular presentation?
Okay, thanks for doing that. For me right now, I've had two fundraisers so far. The first one was at the Mix, and the second one was this past Friday. Of course, the rain did not help that situation. But the next one coming up is March 16th. It's a Friday. It'll be at the Atlanta Eagle. It's going to be hosted by the Seven Guardsmen, which is my leather club that I'm a member of. And we are raising money for my IML travel fund to go to IML just for the cost of the hotel, because even though I'm a contestant, you still have to pay for your own hotel.
Hello, honey. I done went to the site. You tell them, because I wanted to come from you, because they ain't going to believe me.
Exactly. So the cost of the hotel, I need to be in Chicago from Wednesday through Sunday. That cost of the hotel alone is $1,000.
Yes, it is, honey, at $200 a night. Yes, it is. That's just for your living expenses.
And it's also, and IML is not the only contest that run, a leather run, that's what we call them, leather run that I need to be at. I went to Mr. Mid-Atlantic in January. I'm going to Claw, which is in April of next month. All of these things cost money. You got to stay at the hotel. You got to, eat. You got to pay for packages. There's a lot of expense that is tied to being a title holder, especially if you are serious about making a difference and going out there and meeting people and giving your title and yourself exposure.
Proper representation, exactly. Now, wait a minute. Now, let me ask this. Because, see, as a gender illusionist, I never got into the pageantry system because it was all shady and rigged and this, that, and the other from that particular side of it. But let me ask this, because I always went to the sponsors and those who put the titles on, and they want you. They put all these itineraries and stuff together and say, okay, as a title holder, you have to represent us here, 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 and here. What is their support system? Because if you're raising all this money, what is their support system outside of them saying that you have their title? Do I need to take a commercial break on that one?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, wait a minute. Don't
get me in trouble with my producers.
Okay, I would go here, honey. We'll go to a commercial break. Stand by, y'all. Just stand by. The Caribbean American Boys Entertainment. We specialize in jerk and conch food catering, party promotions and emceeing, entertainment with a Caribbean swagger, island fever on the mainland, bam bam. We also provide customized tour guides through gay-friendly Bahamas to all the hot spots of dining and club life events. Mr. Silvano T. DeMarco is the founder and CEO of the CABC. For more information, please contact him at CaribbeanBoysATL@yahoo.com. That's Caribbean Boys with a Z, ATL, @yahoo.com, or on Facebook at Facebook.com/Silvano T. DeMarco. That's Facebook.com/Silvano T. DMARCO. Caribbean American Boys Entertainment. Island Fever on the mainland. Bam bam. The Big Brothers Network. Yeah, men of color, men of size. The Big Brothers Network was created to celebrate the larger man of color and those who admire him. We intend to promote a positive self-image within our community and the mainstream population. Our goal is to embrace our differences, to inspire self-love, and increase camaraderie through positive, brotherly interactions. We intend to accomplish these goals through the BBN magazine, local and national events, and networking forums. For more information or to catch the latest copy of the BBN magazine, please go to www.bigbrothersnetwork.com. That's www.bigbrothersnetwork.com. The Big Brothers Network. Men of color, men of size. Pharaoh's Treasure Box. Fine art, unique jewelry, and sensational 3D silk floral arrangements. Creations by Taps. For all of your decorative needs, contact Pharaoh's Treasure Box at 248-688-5178 or 5179. Again, that's 248-688-5178 or 5179. Or you could email at Pharaoh's Treasure Box at yahoo.com. That's Pharaoh's Treasure Box, PHAROAHS Treasure Box at yahoo.com. To see the collection or to purchase, go to www.buysellcommunity.com/store/Pharaoh's Box. Again, that's www.buysellcommunity.com/store/Pharaoh's Box, and that's PHAROAHZ Box. Pharaoh's Treasure Box of Detroit, Michigan. Fine art, unique jewelry, and sensational 3D silk floral arrangements. Okay, we are back. If you're just tuning in with us, darling, and want to get in on the conversation, please feel free to call 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. And we are here talking with Mr. Leatherman of Color. This is Mr. Peter Hamilton, honey, who's giving us the lowdown of Who's Your Daddy? The Black Leatherman Experience. Okay, and we laughed. We took a little pause, honey, because I think the question was a little deep, and we'll leave it at that. Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
I don't want to
leave it at that.
That gives the wrong impression, and I don't want to do that. Do it as you feel, honey. About what we were talking about is, when you win a title, and whether it's any title, whether it's a national title, I mean, the huge titles like Mr. Mid-Atlantic Leather, the International Man of Leather, there are huge cash prizes that go with that. There's usually lots of to winning those titles. When you win a title such as mine or maybe bar titles or whatever, usually they're privately owned.
Okay.
A lot of the time, there are not the funds and resources to help that title holder promote your title.
Dig it. Okay.
So as a result, it's up to the individual, or the producers look to the individual to raise those funds and to promote that awareness. And they do what they can, but, it may not be what you expect or what you want. But, you have to always look at the bigger picture, and that's what I've done with my title year. Can I say one thing about sponsors? Since I am the first one from Atlanta, the first Leatherman of Color from Atlanta, the Atlanta gay community, both leather and just, I'd say, for lack of a better word, straight community, has really reached out and supported me greatly. There's still a lot more I need to do and a lot more funds I need to raise. But I want to give a special shout-out to Marvelous Mayhem. They are out in Stone Mountain, Georgia. They are a custom leather shop. And Meech, can I tell you, without even having met me, I reached out to them, told them my situation, my story, who I was. They are dressing me exclusively, donated all of my leather gear, competition gear, custom made for me or the International Man of Leather. And that's about $2,000 worth of leather gear that they are doing absolutely free. I had to give a special shout out to them because they really, helped me out a lot. So, but there have been other people, Chow Baby has come on and has sponsored cupcakes, those cakes that you bought the other night.
Yes, I love them, honey. I love them. I need to reach out to them anyway.
Yes, DJ Calvin. There's been a lot of people, the Seven Guardsmen, my club, Onyx, that have really just come together to make sure that my title year, my run, is being successful as possible. But going back to March 15th, there will be I have gift certificates. I have Forbidden Funk Media. I know some out there know about Forbidden Funk.
Oh, my God. I done fell in love with them, honey.
Okay, Black Cat is not only a friend, but they have come on as a sponsor. So they've donated a bunch of stuff for me to raffle off on the 16th. So just come on out March 16th at the Eagle. We're gonna have a good time and raise some funds. Hopefully, I'll also be able to give to. I would love to donate some funds to Chris Kids because I do amazing work. So, just come on out and support. Every dollar, every dime, every nickel, every penny helps.
Okay.
And that's my public announcement service for right now. So now back to the question.
Okay, here, let me go here. This question was asked. We started in on it, and someone here in the tea room, this is Stanley, he was wait a minute, where is it? His question is, what do you feel is the biggest challenge in the Black gay community within the leather community as a whole? But I'm going to tweak it just a second. And I think I'm going to tweak it to say, what do you think is the challenge within the Black leather community as far as it being accepted into regular Black gay culture or regular LGBT culture? What are the hurdles that we have to overcome?
Well, the hurdles. Let me think about that. The thing is that, leather has always been a sub-community of the bigger gay community. And honestly, Meech, I don't want to be that mainstream.
Really? Now, break it down.
It's. I don't think, for me personally, when I think about the leather community and my first images, you think Al Pacino and Cruising, and how there were these little dark leather bars and everybody was wearing hankies, and that's how you identified, who was in the
right,
doing whatever. And now it's just become so mainstream.
It's fashionable, exactly. It's so fashionable now, yes.
For me, I would like to actually go back, take a step back, and get a little more traditional with it, and not be so mainstream. Yes, we are all part of the same community. I'm a gay Black man. I'm proud to be that. But I don't necessarily need to all come together, and we all share the same common interest. We're different.
Interesting. Okay, now let me go here too. What is your take on the disparages that we have between the drag world and leather world? Seems to be so cat and mouse to me. Okay, when they're actually the same coin, they're just different. They're just flip sides of the same coin. So when folks come up and say that that leather is only masculine drag or butch drag, does that become offensive, or how do we laugh that off, or is it some kind of truth into it? How does one perceive that? And I'm asking this question because, again, coming from someone who has been on both sides of this particular coin, I still have to get me. I want some chaps so badly. I want some chaps in a harness, and I want to. But again, I know mine is for vanity. Because I don't know, Steve also told me, that harness means something. Everything means something. So when you wear it, you got to know what the hell you're representing. So that's what come I haven't gone on. And got I said, okay, wait a minute. I don't need to go up in here, and got this damn harness around my chest, and then here you come to chain me up to a fucking wall somewhere and suspend me in animations. I know that's not what this is supposed to mean. Or you thinking you... So I haven't, as far as doing my homework, I have not done all of it like I need to, but I do so love the look. But again, the question when folks come up and say, "Oh, y'all ain't nothing but masculine drag queens," this is just drag. This is just,
Nobody
a look for you. How do you deal with that?
Oh, that's funny because I've never heard that, and actually, if someone would have said that to me, well, you just did say it to me, so I'm trying to take it all in because I'm a little, I've never really thought about it that way. Because I think that the two are so. I don't think they're the opposite sides of the same coin.
Interesting. Okay.
Really don't believe that they're the same. I think people that do drag, and I'm not talking about transgendered people.
Right. That's a whole separate issue. Mm-hmm.
That do drag as entertainment, as maybe a way to make money, or as their their side gig, their side hustle.
Right.
That's a job. This is a lifestyle.
Mhm.
So they're not the same sides of the coin, and that goes to the miseducation that we were getting, that we've touched on times throughout this conversation.
Mhm.
Know what you're talking about before you open your mouth.
Okay, then let's beg this question. What is the biggest misconception of leather community that you as a title holder wish to dispel?
Well, for me, and I only can speak as a black man in leather.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Talking about is that we are not serious about learning our history, learning the
Interesting
people that have come before us, the people that have paved the way, knowing the rules and the protocols and the ins and outs of the leather community, because there's amazing history. You can go to blackleatherpride.com and see all the amazing women of color that have paved the way so that I can sit here and have this conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the biggest misconception is that we're doing this as drag. Back to your other point, that this is just drag. This isn't a lifestyle, and that only those white guys that you see, those are the real Leathermen, and that we as men of color are doing it as drag. And that's a major, major misconception that I am doing everything that I can to dispel. And that's what I'm talking about. It's about how you carry yourself at all times, in all situations. When I'm at the Eagle, when you see me, you ain't going to see me all milly-dilly and silly. I'm going to be representing myself as a leather man. You are not going to see someone wearing my patch or my vest because they think it looks cute. If someone were to walk up to me and I was flagging a certain color, they're not gonna catch me out and go, well, what does that stand for? And you're gonna get from me, oh, I don't know. I just thought it looked good.
Okay, right.
That's not gonna happen.
Okay. Okay. Oh, it's just fashionable. Ain't it sickening with these shoes? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, here we go. Let's go here, because I touched on this briefly. Let's go here. Because, again, the whole idea of daddy, okay, that there is a sexual ideal, a sexual connotation, a sexual image, a sexual thought, all within itself, okay? Now, the whole idea of leather play and being in leather community is also not just trust, but truth and honesty in that trust. And a lot of people who call themselves daddies are really mommies.
Ooh,
Okay.
kind of touched
And
on me on Friday when we had that conversation.
I know. And see
I'm glad
how
for the
I
radio.
mean what in that is that something that needs to be dispelled, or is that something that we need to embrace? Because again, the whole idea about leather is it promotes all this masculinity to where there is no room for femininity. Even as a sub or a bottom or whatever, it's all about being this masculine energy, and there's no room for feminine energy there. So where does that feminine energy tie in, or does it in leather community?
I mean, there are guys that are, I would say, feminine in the leather community. I mean, we run the gamut.
Right.
In everyday life. But getting back to that point of daddies and mommies, you talk about role playing and people doing things and stepping out of the box and having no idea what the hell they're doing.
Okay.
You know, I could call myself President Obama or President of the United States. That don't make it true.
Uh-huh.
So I would say, if you are looking to get into a leather family, a leather relationship, a leather lifestyle with someone that is calling themselves a daddy or a master or a sir, I would check out that person's credentials first. Serious, and I'm being very, very serious.
You
about
are,
it.
but wow, he said check out their credentials.
Check out their credentials first, and find out how they came up, who gave them that title, how did you become a sir? Because just because you say you are doesn't make it so. That's all I want to. That's how I think I want to leave that, because I get really offended by people taking on these roles and these titles and these things because they think that that's who they are, and they have done nothing to show and prove that that's truly who they are. Knowledge, people starting families, leather families, and carrying on and calling this person my boy or this person my that and my what? Last week you were, you were trying to be my boy, so, and now you, what? Get out of here. So I think, again, if you are truly, for those listening out there, if you are truly interested in becoming a member of the leather community, or if you are looking for a daddy or a sir, really do your homework, know how that person came up, know what their values are and their beliefs are, because I don't want to see anyone that is truly interested in the leather lifestyle becoming disillusioned by it or having any misconceptions about what it actually is, because I love it so much and it's so...
Okay, press pause just a second. We're down to the last 2 minutes of the show, people. I know it always runs fast. If you're listening by computer, I'm going to say thank you and all that stuff now because it's going to stop streaming. If you're listening by phone, as long as you stay on the line, you will get all of this as I'm talking live. If you miss anything, all of this is going to be in the archive, so you can go back and catch it and share it with your friends and all of that. But I have a few more questions, and then we're going to keep on going. Oh, you heard that police siren? Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
They raiding you, meat.
Okay. Somebody. Okay. Okay. But yeah. So let's go here with that because when we say educate yourself, and for someone who don't know, if they're coming in completely raw, completely novice, and it is something they saw this in a porn movie and got turned on by it,
Okay.
and now looking to experiment, what should they do? What is the very first step?
Okay.
And then when we say educate, what do you mean by educate? Break that down.
Exactly. If you see something in a movie, say you saw somebody being flogged or whipped or chained up or whatever, and that turned you on somehow, that touched something deep inside you, and you were like, I want to know what that's like. I want to experience that. So you go out. The next step, you're a complete novice. You go out to your local leather bar, and you see this dude all done up, head to toe, and you're like, I want to try that with him. Before you do anything, again, question. If I'm just taking somebody, if I'm meeting somebody in a club or in a bar or whatever, I'm going to ask questions about who you are. I ain't going to just say, well, before we get to your house, I'm not going to wait until we get there and then be like, ask the questions. You need to ask these questions way in advance about what their skill set is, what they're into. If they're not flagging anything to give you an idea of what they might be into, you always have to ask. No one's going to, slap you or beat you down because you asked a question. If you like to get pissed on, if water is your thing, now that's the most common flag. If you see somebody in yellow or flagging yellow or wearing, a lot of yellow highlights in their leather gear or whatever, 99% of the time they're into water sports. So if you like water sports, if that's what turns you on, you know that it's pretty safe to approach that person and ask them. But I would say take things slowly. Don't go from 0 to 100. If you have a true interest in the leather community and you want to know and you want to get into leather play and learn about getting into your headspace and to all of those things that we talked about earlier, take it slow. See it as a marathon and not a sprint. So start out with the little things like, I started out with waxing. My first demo, I was a sub, and I was a sub for Steven, and we did a demo, and we did a wax demo. And I had never done it before, but that's pretty safe. It's pretty a pretty easy thing to do, but it turned me on so much. It was so hot. And then you take the next step, and then you want to turn it up a little bit and turn it up a little bit and turn it up a little bit until, now I love flogging. I love being flogged. I mean, it releases. You will not believe how many endorphins that releases in your body.
Oh, I know. I've been flogged before.
Okay, well, there you go. So you do know. So
I've been flogged. I've realized my limit. I've had deer skin and buffalo skin. And buffalo is that's my limit for now.
No, so but you have to take it slow. You can't come in going, do this to me, or I want this done, or whatever. I think you really need to take it slow and take it by baby steps. And again, if you live in the Atlanta area, you're very, very lucky that if you are a man of color, if that's your thing, that you have organizations like Onyx here. You have the 7 that are here. Again, March 16th, we'll be there at the Eagle. Come out, ask questions, get informed, and, start playing. Have fun, but be safe.
Exactly. Now, before we leave, you mentioned all your sponsors. Do you have websites, information on those people? Let's get that out there. And then, again, announce your run, your activities, your website, all of that.
Okay. Marvelous Mayhem is my main sponsor, and they. Oh my God! I can't believe they're actually using my. They are. You can actually just Google all of them online. You could do it's Lee. It's www.marvelous MARVELOUS mayhem MAYHEM.com. Very simple.
Okay.
They're my main sponsor, and then of course you can go to Onyx's website. The Seven Guardsmen, we do not have a website yet because we are a fairly new organization, and right now we're still a very private club. The Seven Guardsmen, just so those people out there will know, Seven Guardsmen is a private leather club, meaning we will approach you if for membership you don't approach us.
Yeah. Okay, my people will get in touch with your people, darling.
Exactly. But what I will say is that we are friendly, we are open. If you come to our bar night, please ask us questions. But it's not an open membership kind of situation. It's more of the old school motorcycle club kind of thing.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Check you out before we offer you any kind of key to the to our club.
All right. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't ask this. Continue because I forgot to ask this.
And you can check me out on Facebook at Peter Hamilton, just Peter Hamilton, or you can go to my website, which I hope a lot of you do go to check it out. It will have where I'm going to be, what appearances I'm making. It also has a full list of my sponsors and great pictures and all of that. And that is, you are ready for it? It's wix.com/LMOC 2012 /winner, WINNER. And I will be competing at the International Mr. Leather competition, and that will be 28th in Chicago. And their website is imrl.com.
All right.
Did I hit everybody?
May 28th, 2012 is the competition. What are the categories that you're going to be walking and competing in?
Well, the way the leather contests are run, there's a preliminary competition that's a 12-minute judges interview for each contestant. And then there is a Pecs and personality, which 40%. So the interview is 60%, and then the Pecs and personality consists of your leather wear, your physical appearance, and your speech. So it's broken up. So it's like 10, 10, and 20%, something like that. And so after that, those scores are calculated, they narrow it down to the top 20, and those top 20 people actually compete for the title of Mr. IML.
Okay.
So that's how it's broken. That's how it's broken down. So the interview portion you guys would never ever see, of course. But if you come to the contest, you will see the leatherware, the Pecs and personality. Before I was with you, I was at the gym, so trying to get it together.
Okay.
Get to hear me speak on what I feel my platform would be, which I'm still defining what that is, because I think I have a lot of not issues. I don't have. Well, we all got issues, but I have a lot of things that I feel very passionate about. But you only get 2 minutes to speak, so you got to narrow it down and make it concise.
Okay. Well, I think you've done that here.
And thank you, Meech, for having me on your show. I so appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, well, darling, honey, you're a friend of the show, honey. You know, this is my part of my contribution to making sure that the community understands. Excuse me. Oh, I got a catch. That the community understands all of our nuances and facets because it takes all of us to make the community. If it exists, then it's a part of us. So we can't overlook it or we can't ignore it. Our goal is to understand and to accept it. You know, whether we agree or not is irrelevant. We just have to understand and accept that it exists. So, with that, I thank you for coming out, honey, and just being very that way with us. And always know, honey, you have a place here if you need to come back beforehand, before you get down to Chicago.
Right before I get sent off, just, you know, I would just love if you can. Like I said, it's an expensive weekend, but if you can swing it, you know, come out and support your local Atlanta boy. You know, I'm going for the title. I'm going to win it.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're able to do it, I would love all your listeners to come on out and support me.
All right. Well, there you have it. And on that note, my darling, I want to let you get back to your day and into your training, into your mindset, into your getting your gear together. You got custom gear coming. That's going to be sickening. Oh, because I saw the sketch of the vest, honey. I saw the vest.
Oh, you did?
I saw the vest. I said, okay, now. Ooh. Okay. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what this is going to entail. So, yeah, thank you for educating me. And this is the second time that we visited the leather community here, and I'm going to continue on periodically because, again, this is something that is intriguing me on some levels. I think I'm just going to go ahead on out and say that I am a part of it in some degree. I've been honorarily pinned one time with what's the name of the children? They were Icon, Detroit, when they first started, because they, again, being the security officer at the Eagle Club, they loved me, and I was honorary pinned then. So as I'm learning me and exploring me, honey, this here is fascinating. So that there is that. So, darling, you continue to do you, be you, celebrate your authenticity as I am throughout this month for my birthday. And I will chat with you again very, very soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, sugar. You too.
Bye.
Ciao. Okay, now, baby, now you tell me what your thoughts were on that, honey. Who's your daddy? The Black Leatherman Experience. Okay? We heard a lot of different things up in here as far as some of the disparages that goes on, a lot of different racism that still exists within the culture, a lot of the things that we as blacks don't understand about it, and some of the things that he was able to dispel. So take this and allow this to be your introduction into education about the culture itself. You know, to some degree, all of us are a part of it very loosely. You know, if you look into your own physical intimacy and what you like and what you don't like and carrying on, even, you know, the slapping on the ass and carrying on, loosely is a part of what that is all about. Okay, the type of man that you're attracted to, if you are a bottom who likes a top or like a dominant top or this, that, and the other, that there is loosely a part of what this particular culture is about. It's just that you have to educate yourself on it to see how far into it you are. Most of us may not be as far off as some of the folks, as some others are. I know when I went to Chicago Hellfire, honey, some of the shit that them kids were down there doing, there's no way on God's continent that was going to happen to me. However, you know, I celebrate their freedom and you know, wanting to understand why is it that they play as hard as they do. You know, that's the fascinating part for me, to want to understand and to accept it. So, darling, with that, honey, that there concludes this show. I'm still in celebration mode, honey. As I said earlier, I was sitting here having a sip. I'm going to introduce you guys. If you don't know about Choco Vino, I'm going to say, honey, go get you a bottle tonight. If you adore a very, very good dessert wine, Choco Vino is for you. For all my chocolate lovers, this is a chocolate and red wine combination, honey. It is lovely. It is smooth. It's sickening. It has the consistency of Kahlua. As you sip on it, have it chilled. It is absolutely gorgeous, honey. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So with that, honey, I'm going to finish my cocktail, and that there is that. So, honey, I hope that you finish all of your crumpets, darling, because we're giving it to you the way it's given to us, fierce and fabulously, not shady or cynical. So, honey, if you love me, tell a friend. If you hated me, tell an enemy. But do know this: one way, shape, style, form, or fashion, honey, this thing will go forward. So with that, honey, you may finish all of your crumpets because the tea has been dished, and you've been dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meech. Until next time, darling, I'll talk with you very, very soon, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.